Welcome back to the weekend show. Right now we have the political segment with three beautiful, intelligent, ambitious women. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. We have, to my immediate right, is the APC Southeast Zonal Women Leader for the National Committee of Buhari Support Groups, Reverend Sally Chinebu Williams. We also have with us is Mrs. Ife Akele. She's a lawyer, a former DG, Nigeria Chamber of Shipping. She's a member of the Women for Women, member of the Women in Politics, member of the Women in Maritime. She's obviously a women's advocate. Yes. Then very lastly, we have Indi Kator. She's a member of the PDP. She's the member of the PDP Secretary Generation Next. A mouthful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies, yesterday on the program we had two gentlemen, Femi Fani-Kayode and Engineer Niyi Fatogun, who spoke to us about the 2019 projections and the ability of their party to seize power coming in the upcoming 2019 general elections. It was a heated debate. Both of them think that the PDP and the APC stand a very strong chance of gaining power in 2019. So now we have a new women's advocate. So let's start with you from the neutral perspective. What do you think are some of the challenges hindering women from acceding to these positions of power in the political space?
Okay, yeah, let me just start. I'm not a lawyer. Everybody thinks I'm a lawyer. I'm actually a corporate administrator.
We have to get rid of our research assistant.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yes. Okay, your question is really very important now because what's happening in the scenario. First of all, I want to thank APC in an unusual way because their lack of inclusion of women in governance has raised the awareness for every woman in Nigeria that why are we not involved? We must get involved. So there is a great awareness amongst women, and that's where my role and our advocate bodies we're really cashing in on it. So it is going to have an impact. It's going to be very interesting what's going to happen in the next few months. There are so many female contestants, so many. She's from Generation Next, and she's from my generation. There's a real convergence of women aware that we must get there. And that's why one of the platforms I represent is Women for Women, which means women must work together because we are stronger when we're together. So let's look forward to a very, very interesting convergence of women in all parties. It's coming. There's so many contestants, beautiful posters everywhere. They haven't started blasting them on the walls, but you will soon see them. So I'm positive about what's going to happen.
You know, when people make the statement that women don't support women, because I hear you say there's a huge convergence of women coming up, a revolution of women. Yeah. But I don't know if most people would technically agree with that, because a lot of people say women are our own worst enemies. I disagree to some extent, but I've also been in situations where I feel that, I could have been giving more of a prop up by a fellow woman, not because I'm just a woman, but because I have the skills and the capacity to do whatever job or whatever it was I was vying for. So do you believe in that notion? That
there is a basic insecurity women have. I was talking before we came in here that if a girlfriend walks in on her boyfriend with another girl, she fights the girl. Meanwhile, she doesn't know the girl. Why don't you fight the boyfriend that went to this girl? And two of them start fighting, and the man sits back like, well, you know. So this is what we're trying to get rid of, is that psyche, that pull-down syndrome, that insecurity. A woman in the corporate world gets so high up, and she sees a young girl with all the, you know, potentials of coming up, and she actually does go out of her way to suppress her. We're trying to kill that. That's why we want to promote Women for Women, stronger together. It is there, it does exist, but the more the advocacy gets on, the more the fora of women speaking for themselves, it'll snowball. I believe that.
Reverend Sally, I see you shaking your head, and I know you're agreeing with what she's saying, but I also want to bring the earlier statement she made in. The APC, your party, the All Progressive Congress, has excluded women, according to Mrs. Ife, in this administration. How do you respond to that?
So, thank you very much, and thank you, viewers. I want to say,
first and foremost, Nigerians, I thank you particularly for what happened yesterday. Nigerians trooped out to welcome the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm grateful. Thank you, all of you that really honored him yesterday when he returned to Nigeria from his 10 days vacation. Now, let me tell you, yes, I will agree somehow with her, but we did not exclude women. APC as a party did not exclude women from contesting, but I think there are more to it. You might say in the government of my president or in government of APC today that we don't have too many women as quote-unquote ministers. But I think there are issues, and that issue is the issue of money. The issue of buying forms, the issue of standing in for election, the issue of contesting is the biggest problem we have in Nigeria. If only, and I'm not advocating that we should be given special treatment, but I think there should be a method, or that it should be established that women must become this or women must become that. I'm not saying that. APC did not exclude women from contesting during 2015 election. We did not. They did not. But it's unfortunate that a lot of women were not elected in the key position.
Nde, of the PDP, the secretary of the Generation Next, under the previous administration, we saw a lot of women play active roles in the government of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Well, how would you, in contrast with what we see right now, how would you assess this current government?
It is quite disappointing because in the build-up to the elections, there were a lot of women, especially young women, who were very vocal in bringing, and active in bringing this government into power. And I expected that a good number of them would have been given positions. Not given positions because this is a token position for girls. Like, these girls were very active. These girls showed themselves true. And not only did they not get, women as a whole didn't get these major positions in APC, in the APC government, where I know that they can function properly. It actually took a while for them to secure the lower positions. And I remember sitting with a woman I'll consider an APC chieftain who is now appointed into a board. And she was celebrating it that, oh, we finally managed to put one of the girls somewhere. And I was quite disappointed. The PDP won't do that to you. I mean, I'm still in my 20s and my party sends me as a media representative. So that shows that this party believes in what women can do, knows that, being able to, ability is not gender sensitive. Whoever can do it should get the job done.
But I'll take you up on that. Your party, the PDP,
yes,
doesn't have any youth representation in the Board of Trustees.
We are working on that.
The APC has a young lady like Rinsola Abiola
in
the Board of Trustees.
There are two of them.
So don't you think your party has failed in that respect?
My party has not failed. We are a work in progress. What I like about the PDP is we continue to morph. We don't sit down and say that, what has been done is okay, we're praising while something is wrong. No. Our youth leader, Right Honorable Ude Okoye, is actually working on this, and the National Working Committee supports it. So what we are working towards as the People's Democratic Party is, from every region, we want to pick 2 young people to belong in the Board of Trustees. Again, keep in mind that the PDP is an ever-evolving body. When it first started, my generation was not here. When the PDP started, I was in primary school. And here I am in meetings with the men I used to look up to. And nobody, men and women, I used to look up to. And nobody has kicked me out. And then we keep, it's by participation. For a long time, people thought that there was a group of people that belonged in power, from certain families, from certain, But the way the doors of the PDP are so open right now, anyone, can you function? Can you get the job done? You go in. And so once you show that you're functional, once you show that you can push this party in a certain direction, the PDP is open to suggestions, open to new ways of doing things.
I found it interesting that when you were speaking about the APC earlier, you said those women who worked for the success of the All Progressive Congress were not given positions. Yeah. You necessarily didn't use the words, they didn't vie for positions when they had the opportunity to
what we're talking about.
So do you believe in tokenism?
No, what we're talking about specifically is ministerial positions, appointments. We were talking about appointments. This is after the elections, of course. We've discussed these things in several forums, how women candidates who are really excellent in either in any party really get weeded out in the primaries. It's always that. Yeah. So till women know how to, not know how to, but till the system is more open to women candidates, and there are many reasons why women candidates do not sail through. I'm from a region considered the Northwest. I'm from Kaduna State, and there are many issues. Kaduna even better. When you go to Kano and Katsina, you have violent issues when women come out to vie for office. You have your children denouncing, disowning you when you come out to vie for positions. The community organize meetings and come to meet you and tell you to step down. So these are several things that have to be looked into beyond, just lip service, beyond conferences where we talk and just go away. These
so
are
you're vying for State House of Assembly.
Yes, I am.
What has been the challenges so far as a woman, as a youth, vying for a position of power also in the northern part of the country?
Well, yeah, where I come from, my particular senatorial zone, we are not, we're sidelined in the national scheme of things. So there are very few positions to go around everybody. So it means that I'm 28 running for a position. There's many, there are 50s running for the same State House of Assembly, because that is also the apex of their own careers, and these are very able men. So you have that gerontocracy is working against me on one angle. Of course, the female angle, and then they ask you if you're married. I'm definitely not married. Still, they'll ask you if you're married. There are many things that will get thrown in. But I have this to say, politics, they're basically like 10 positions and 1,000 people looking for those positions. So everybody's going to throw in what they can throw in to weed out as many people as they can to get that position. So if it is to tell me my gender, they will throw it. If it is going to tell me I'm not married, they'll throw it. My job is to make sure I weed them out too.
Reverend Chinebu, let's talk hardcore politics.
Go ahead.
Your Senate President, who was a member of your party, Senator Bukola Saraki, has dumped the APC.
He didn't dump the APC. Don't use that word dump.
What happened then?
He decided to quit.
And after leaving, your chairman, your national chairman, has been calling for him to be impeached and has vowed that Saraki must be removed. What's your take on this?
That is my national chairman, but that is not APC. You see, people have been making this mistake that APC said. APC is the national chairman. I agree. But if my president has not said so, the vice president has not said so, I don't know how many chieftains of APC, that came up to say, oh, Saraki must resign. Look, this is senators that elected Saraki. And I stand to say that when they resume from their vacation, they will decide who will be their leader. They decided and appointed or elected Saraki to be their leader. So it's also the senators. And if it happens that APC is in majority by resumption, of course, definitely, they will vote him out. It's given. So saying that, the chairman has a right to say whatever he wants to say. It's his personal opinion. And you cannot equate that to the general thinking of every member of APC. No. APC is not the one saying so, but he's the chairman of the party. He has a right to say his opinion. He voiced that his opinion. You have a right to say your opinion. I have a right to say my opinion. And what I'm saying here today is that by the time they resume, the natural course will play out.
Talking about the natural course, so were you surprised at what happened at the National Assembly some Tuesdays ago when DSS officials laid siege at the National Assembly and prevented lawmakers from entering the building?
I disagree with you because you do not know those. What are those that were in the building? PDP members, PDP senators.
No, what exactly do you disagree with?
What I disagree is that it's not the DSS. Who really ordered the DSS?
We should ask you.
I don't know.
Your government controls the DSS.
But you can also say that what the vice president, the acting president then did, quickly.
Quite commendable.
Quickly. And I think we should be looking at what the acting president did, instead of hammering on the issue, the DSS, because we do not know actually what played out. Besides, it's another investigation. So I want to encourage Nigerians to please be patient. Let the investigations go on, and they will be able to know who instigated the DSS, who really championed it. But it's not my party.
Isn't it scary for you as a Nigerian, the fact that a security arm has invaded another arm of government? The security arm is under the executive branch of government, has invaded the National Assembly, the legislative arm of government, without the awareness of your party. Isn't that scary for you as a Nigerian? Please put partisan politics aside.
Yeah, let me ask a question.
No, answer my question.
Is it not? No. You know me very well. Is it not also scary that even outside Nigeria, you see how they fight, even on the floor, in the red carpet, in chamber, green carpet, how they fight? You will also say, will women really stand this? Women can stand it, and women should get involved. Nothing is scary at all. They've done what they did, and the acting president immediately took action that every Nigerian the good, the bad, the ugly. They have praised government of APC for doing what they did. I think we should just let this be. There is nothing scaring in it. The DSS did what they did. The IGP said he wasn't aware. People are in control of certain office.
Sorry, can I cut in? Reverend, nobody in America, the CIA can't just bulldoze their way.
I didn't say. I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about in the floor, in the Congress, in other places.
She asked you a question. I'm looking at it as a citizen objective under the security I believe we're all supposed to be protected from. The CIA will not just bulldoze, or the MI5 will not bulldoze their way into Parliament. And then Theresa May says that, it happens, people fight in other places, and this goes on. It's not. No, she asked a simple question, and then the reply I expected was that, can we wait till the investigation is over?
Which I said earlier.
Because it's extremely bizarre. Don't go into making excuses, because it comes across as if it's a political issue. And when you do that, it's not nice for us citizens that believe in the arms of security that protect us. This is my quarrel with parties. When we're talking of serious security issues, thank God the Vice President took that step, because we now felt, oh, somebody's taking a decision. But to say that, oh, it's the Saraki, oh, it's Oshoma, it's bringing our sense of security extremely under question. So I think what we could do here is just say, let's wait till and we hope the investigation does.
It will be beautiful speedily. Yes, speedily. It will.
Yes,
but talking about the investigation, the IGP, in a letter that has been trending, that has been widely publicized, wrote to the acting president that some highly placed politicians were behind what happened at
definitely, and that's PDP people.
No, don't say that. Can you don't say that?
I find that letter, and I should be quoted anywhere, very juvenile for an officer of that level. And then I was there at the National Assembly that day, and there were police officers there. And the DSS was there too. It was very scary as a young person having to experience that. And I'd also like to call us out on, the commendations given to the Vice President, or the acting president at the time. Now, the acting president at the time gave that. We had been there since morning. You cannot say that you did not know what was happening all the way till past 1, past 2, before that order was given for the DG of DSS to be fired. I think it took quite a lot of time if you were on ground following these events. And then I also find it problematic to say that Adams Oshomole does not speak for the party. He's the national chairman of this party. Some of these statements are quite irresponsible. You cannot, as a national chairman of any party, fire the Senate president. And what I think he's doing is he's being distracting. He's distracting us from issues, and he's heating up the polity. And I do think that any responsible person should call him out on that, party or not. We cannot come out and say that, oh, this is some senators that are doing this and all that in the face of national security. I grew up, a brief part of my growing up was spent under the military government. I haven't felt so terrified my entire life since we left military till that day. And coming back to saying, let's relax, they are going to investigate. We are still waiting for the investigation of Senator Omo Agege's stealing of the maize, and it has come to nothing. It's literally come to nothing. Something set precedents. You cannot say that this is going to happen when history has shown us that it is not going to happen.
Well, Reverend Tally just mentioned that the IG of Police preliminary investigation revealed that some politicians, highly placed politicians, were behind that. She just attributed it to the PDP, although you have no facts.
But the issue is that a lot, minimum
can we pull out that letter?
20 persons belonging to PDP were already in the House of Assembly before this incident. Where in the world were they in the House as early as 6, 7 a.m.? What was going on?
You get reports that these things are going to happen. And there was this clip where the Senate president was really animated and explaining how the night before they were already seeing drops of DSS and all that all around town. And you know what is going to happen. We all saw the news. We saw the news, we knew what was going to happen. Now, I'm going to be a responsible citizen here because I know that members of another party were somewhere else doing something. But since we are not a party that likes to spread rumors, I'm not going to say that, But these people were in their office. There's no resumption time for that office. You can be there at any time to do the job that you are paid to do, you were elected to do.
But
I find it quite odd that it has been happening. It has been happening. If you actually frequent the National Assembly, you would know that senators, National Assembly members often have to resume work very early or have to leave there very late. So I would like to know why you would.
Most senators,
where are you pulling your figures from?
I like to take you
Where
up
are you
again
pulling
on
your
this.
figures from?
Undi, on that same premise.
Yes.
There was a particular member of the House of Representatives of the APC, Honorable Agbonaima,
yes,
who also came to the National Assembly complex and was booed and shooed and almost beaten up by young people allegedly sponsored, according to him,
allegedly,
by the PDP.
Allegedly, that's according to him.
So what would you?
That's according to him.
How would you marry that with the fact that people could come anytime they want to the National Assembly? But this particular guy of the APC was there and he was attacked.
He was not attacked. He was not attacked. I was on ground that day. He was not attacked. He was booed while responding to the press. The people there felt that what this man was saying was not the truth, and then they booed him. That was what happened. His shirt was not pulled, DSS was not released upon him. He didn't have to fight like the female House of Reps member to get in there. There were people on ground. Nigerians had gathered there because Nigerians did not understand why DSS should be there.
Nigerians or PDP members?
Nigerians. I saw people there that I know very well that Deji Adeyanju is not a member of the PDP. The other people there, I do not see them in PDP meetings. So how are you just going to come out and say these are PDP members?
Ndi has just described.
They are not.
Ndi has just said that your
national
chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, is heating up the polity. And on this same desk yesterday on this show, the PDP chieftain, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, was on this show, and he said that the problem your national chairman has is that he's unable to differentiate between a trade union and a political party. What do you think?
I will repeat myself 1,000 times. The National Party of APC, His Excellency Adams Oshiomhole, is His Excellency Adams Oshiomhole. He has a right to his opinion. He has a right to express his mind. That is his mindset. That is not Saleh's mindset. And that is Mr. President's mindset.
What happens when the statement?
Excuse me, sister. Let me tell you, there have not been NWC meeting, NEC meeting, to the best of my knowledge, and I make bold to say it, that the Southern, there's the caucus of PDP, APC, sorry, Southern, and say, oh, definitely, Adam Oshiomhole, this is what you're going to say. It has not happened. No. Because when we have a meeting, we have a spokesperson of APC. We have the publicity secretary of APC. We have every person there that can also speak. But the national chairman decided on his own to say what he said. And I maintain it without any apology. He has a right to his opinion. He is entitled to his opinion. It is not the party's opinion. The party has not had any meeting, not a NEC meeting, not NWC meeting. They just concluded a meeting yesterday. There is no communique on that, what the party is standing for. The party has never called as a party, quote and unquote, the Saraki must be removed. And I maintain that there is a method of taking out a senator. There is a method of taking out a Senate president. He was elected. And when they meet in the next couple of weeks, of course, they will decide. By the grace of God, APC will be in majority. And APC will decide who will take over the position of Saraki.
Let's take some feedback from social media. Reverend Sally, you have a tweet from Tolu Lokbe, tweeting from Tolu Lokbe 678 on Twitter, obviously. She says, at Weekend Show, please ask Reverend Sally. IG police said some people were behind the DSS invasion. How come they didn't do anything about it? It's a shame. Let's take a few others.
Well, seeing a young lady in her 20s so much into politics and even coming for a position is really impressive. At Razak, I think that's a tweet for Indy.
And lastly, we have APC doesn't have more women like PDP. Buhari already mentioned that women belong to the other room. Now the election is coming up, they're reversing it.
Let me have
Mrs. feedback.
That's what I want to talk about. That's why I'm here. We, the women for women is speaking now, and women in politics. We intend to visit every chairman hopefully of the 91 parties, especially your party, and tell them that if we don't see certain amount of women given the opportunities as senators, as House of Rep, State House of Assembly, blah, 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 right down to councillorship, we will encourage and we will come out en masse to tell women to support only the parties we see women who came through the primaries and are ready to run. We don't care what party you belong to. One of the states, I will not mention the name of the states, but encouraged so many female councillors. We had so many female councillors, and local government women were appointed as chairman and deputy. We wrote a letter, and our chapter in that state went to pay the governor a visit. This is what we want to see. So what you're saying is that the elections for women, because 80% of the voters are women. A man stood up in the National Assembly and told everybody in the world, I don't remember his name, that they are afraid of us. That how much do you want to give women? That he admitted that 70% of his votes were from women. Why should we sit down and give him 70% when we could have given it to a woman who will make sure the woman, a bill that helps women in the health sector, in the maritime sector. That's why I ran. I ran under one of the major parties for my own zone for House of Rep. But I suffered the impunity that existed then. And that's why I've said, let me come back and encourage people like this, people who are going there with a genuine reason. We want to screen our women, let them have manifestos that make sense. Let's go in there. If you're here, I can call you and say, AIT, you're doing something. I won't call him, I'll call you. And I say, can you do this? And you will automatically. That's why women are coming together. That's my own input.
I think she's doing a good work. We've been chatting in your waiting room. And I also want to encourage her for what she's doing, bringing women together and encouraging women to go on. Let me tell you, I will never stop saying it. Women, we need to begin to do it for ourselves. Because one of the biggest problems is the issue of money. Because if we women can agree, she's a young generation, a younger one, for that matter, in our 20s. Some of us are in our 50s. If we see any woman that is coming up, we should encourage the woman. And APC is not sidelining women. Please, let us get it right. My president he wants people to feel funny. He wants people to feel good. When he makes a statement that instead of us laughing over it, we take it to extreme, or the women belong to the other side. It's not true. Is Her Excellency not moving? Look, let me tell you, last time I said it here, I had the first woman that ever had summit, women's summit, here in Abuja and Enugu State. My mommy sent Buratai's wife to represent her. And I had over 23 army officers' wives that accompany her. So she's doing the best she could do. But if women stay back, when we lay back and said, oh, we want somebody to give us the money, let all of us move out there. Girl, I encourage you. I wish I would be there with you. Even though you're PDP, I hope you cross over to APC.
Give us your final words, Indy. Your final words and reactions. Go ahead. Go ahead. We have limited time. Okay. Limited time. Let her go.
Okay. Okay, so going forward, please, I would like women to be in more political spaces, and especially the media. You know, I was called upon by a radio station for the umpteenth time to come and talk about women in politics, and I told them I was quite tired. Call women to talk about the economy, call women to talk about the army, about NAS. That is how women participate. Participation is participation. Participation is not how do I participate. It's nagging and it's tiresome. You've heard me talk. You know that I can discuss on a wide range of issues. So please, when you are calling women, women should talk about what people are talking about. It's not issues. National issues are not gender sensitive. We can talk about these things, and that's how you encourage participation. Thank you so much.
Indy Ife Sally, thank you so much for joining us in
Today's
program.
Thank you
for having me.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. We'll take a break right now, and when we return, more on The Weekend Show. Please don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.